me, but I'll go hunting and see if I can track it down.
Yeah.
That's I'd like to get that. I'd like to get that up where others can read it. I think that people
Mm-hmm.
see that. Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding.
I know you've got music awaiting you downstairs. So not to mention the potentially winning primary election stuff. So
Yes.
go make music and enjoy things and support your friend. And thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been really awesome having you.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it. Thanks for doing this. It's just a great opportunity for networking and getting the word out. So, and maybe we can do one of those. Maybe we can do a Mazer Jam night or something sometime.
Oh God, that would be so cool. Well, okay,
that totally would.
If you'll commit to coming to the Mazer Cup next year, I can start the wheels turning to arrange a Mazer Jam. We can even have our own suite. All right, just saying. I have some, I have a little bit of swing with the Mazer Cup, folks. Just a little.
Just a little. Maybe a little.
Well, it would be fun.
It would be, yeah. We could do this.
Okay,
so,
cool.
Just
all
saying,
right.
And both of you have to come. I'm just saying.
It's Boulder, yeah.
Find a minion to run the shop for you and come to Mazer Cup.
I could do that.
Yeah.
I could do that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, so go make beautiful music, and thanks for doing what you do, man. And I'll find some way to get my hands on some more of your stuff and hook up with you guys. Okay.
Okay. Thanks, you guys. Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks.
Have a great night.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. So pretty awesome, Jon Hamilton from White Winter. They're honest to God, that was one of the very first commercial meads I ever tried outside of Chaucer's. Chaucer's was the first one ever that I discovered mead, was having that at a Ren Fair. The first, at the time, Chaucer's was not the best mead in the world. But then these guys came along, and I still don't remember how in the world I laid my hands on a bottle of it, because they still don't ship to Michigan, and, I think I was in Pittsburgh at the time, if I remember correctly, so that might have been how I got some. But anyway, it was, I was just like, holy God. I didn't even know anything could taste like this. Is amazing, So it was pretty cool. But I want to do another shout out for them real quick, and then we're going to head into Luis. You still there?
Yes, I am still here.
Okay, great. We're getting ready to do the Mead-Back to Basics segment, so don't go anywhere. But I want to do one last shout out for White Winter here on their behalf. White Winter Winery specializes in handcrafted mead honey wine using Wisconsin-grown fruit and honey, creating the drink of celebrations in northern Wisconsin since 1996, the year GotMead got founded too. Join us for our 20th anniversary celebration, Saturday, July 2nd, in Iron River, Wisconsin. White Winter. Drink deep, live wise. That's www.whitewinter.com. www.whitewinter.com. If you are anywhere near northern Wisconsin, you want to go to this. They do good music too, so just a shout
Super,
out to
I hope
Jon
so.
and Kim. Yeah, they do. Shout out to Jon and Kim. Thanks so much, guys, for for coming on and everything. And Kim, sorry you couldn't make it. The girlie's sending you a virtual hug, man. Take care. Okay, so the next segment is new. And AJ is going to be running this part of the show. So, AJ, knock yourself out, girl.
Well, I'm halfway through this bottle of wine, so that is a distinct possibility.
Yeah, well, let's try not to do it until we get done doing this part of the show, okay?
Oh, all right. So we were trying to figure out what I could talk about, and I thought maybe starting to go with the commonly asked questions would be a really good idea, because, if people are asking these questions all the time, then there's got to be a reason for that. But the first thing I was asked was about the basics. Gunnet00 asked about the basics, so that's where I thought we'd start.
Okay.
So,
cool. For those that don't know what she's talking about, there's the questions that get asked on GotMead and on the Mead Facebook pages and stuff, like over and over and over and over again. Yeah. So these are questions that are going to get answered on this show. So if you ask them again, we're just going to point you to this show and say, go listen. All right. So working with us Okay. Luis wants to go off back so we can listen and take notes. Yes, Luis,
Okay.
You can close out of the Skype call and keep listening. Just don't
Thanks,
turn your
Luis.
sound up on that end. Thanks for coming on, man. But don't turn up your sound on your end until you've gotten out of the group call, so that we don't get an echo. But thank you so much for coming on. And
Thank you so much for you too.
Yeah. So
Thank you.
email me, Luis, and I'll introduce you to some people. Okay.
Yes, I will keep hearing you in the north side, and I will leave you the conversation here and take my notes as well. And yes, we'll be in touch. I appreciate and regards from Costa Rica to everybody.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Luis.
Awesome.
Get Luis out of there so we don't get echo. And all right, so kind of a bonus this call, and I don't know if we'll be lucky enough to have fun people like these guys on for every call, but we'll see what we can do. We have got also from the GotMead forums, we've got Manny Elgaresta. You can correct me, Manny, when I get you on the phone if I mess that up. And Ryan Carlson. So I'm going to bring them in now. And Manny is Manny on the forums, and then Ryan is Squatchy on the forums. So we're going to bring them in to hang with AJ and me and kind of contribute to the conversation to, just see what we happen. So we'll go ahead, and the first one we're going to get here is Manny. And I guess there's just no way to make the ring go away. We tried. Yeah.
One of these days we'll figure it out.
Well, no, it's not that. We just need to
Do it during
do
commercials.
this behind the side. Yeah.
Hello.
Hey, Manny, it's Vicky and AJ again. So we got you on the group call. You are live and on the air. I'm going to go ahead and get Ryan in here, and we're going to get the show on the road, all right?
Excellent. Let's do it.
Awesome. Thanks so much for agreeing to come and play tonight. So,
A lot of fun.
yeah, we're going to have a good time. All right, so next we're going to get so I can actually do this without concentrating really hard on it, which is good because, most of that half bottle of wine that I had is gone.
You and me both.
Yeah, I'm on the last glass of the half bottle of St. Ambrose mead that I was working on.
Hello.
Hey, Ryan. Okay, I got you
Hi.
and I got Manny both on with me and AJ. So everybody out there in Radio Land, say hey to Manny and Ryan, who's Squatchy on the forums. Manny is Manny on the forums, so that's easy. And AJ.
And AJ, of course, is Chevette Girl on the forums.
AJ is Chevette Girl on the forums. Good. If you guys don't know that already, you need to go back and listen to the first 26 shows.
Actually, we don't say it as often as you'd think.
We don't, do we? Okay, I will write that. We'll write that into the show notes because I didn't need. Yeah. Well, I mean, how many of them know that I'm webmaster on the so yeah. Anyways, so AJ, this is your gig, so knock yourself out, girl. I'm just gonna hang back and I'll comment when I need to.
All right. Well, lately our shows have been getting really in-depth with some really advanced procedures and concepts. But before you get to all that interesting stuff, you really want to start making consistent meads. I myself started out scattered in about a million directions, trying out all kinds of fun things, but not a lot of consistency. I couldn't effectively gauge how the changes I made actually changed my wines and meads, because even when I made the same recipe twice, it didn't always turn out the same. Let me be your bad example. If you want to go nuts experimenting, go ahead. This is supposed to be fun and not work. But while you're trying your 51 spice metheglin, Vicky, or playing with different yeasts, pick one recipe and make it over and over and over and over and over and over.
26 spices. I'm never going to live that one down, am I?
Nope, never. But try to have at least one carboy committed to your practice batch. I admit it, through the 100 and some batches I myself have made, I think I've only done about 6 traditional meads. And some of my most consistent recipes are actually modifications on Joe's Ancient Orange, which is great for cranking out a decent mead quickly. But what about the long haul batches? Maybe if I'd been more consistent about my procedures, I wouldn't have ended up with 2 batches that smelled like diesel fuel. So enough with the self-deprecating. Let's get back to basics. Where do I start? Well, it depends. Do you have a specific finished product in mind? Do you have ingredients at hand that you want to make the best use of? Have you got something going bad in the fridge that you want to work with? No, wait a sec, AJ, you're already too far ahead. I've never done this before. Where do I start? What do I need? Okay, let me ask you this. Have you tasted mead before? Do you know what you like? Because if you haven't and you don't, that's where I'd recommend you start. Get some mead. Try some mead. Try a bunch of different meads. Make notes. Figure out what it is you like, what it is you want. If you want to take a look at an example of someone figuring out what it is that they like before they try making something and ending up with a 5-gallon batch of something they don't like, I've got a thread on how do you figure out what you like in a beer. That's what I did with beer when I started making beer. I did that the right way. I figured out what I wanted before I got headfirst into it, as opposed to mead where I'm just making all kinds of stuff whether I like it or not. So you've tried mead, you know you like it, you figured out how sweet or not sweet you like it, and you want to try making some. Well, now's the time to try out your Google Foo and see what you can find in the way of recipes and mead making methods. Of course, if you're here, you've probably already been doing that and are confused as all hell. So, where do we start? How about yeast? What is it? How does it make delicious, delicious mead? Well, most of us already know it's a single-celled fungus that essentially eats sugar and excretes carbon dioxide and alcohol. And if you ever studied biology, you might recall that in our own bodies, cellular respiration is what keeps us going, and our cells essentially take oxygen and glucose, which is sugar, and turn it into energy and carbon dioxide. But we all know that we need more than just sugar to keep our bodies running properly. Any parent who's just gone through Easter knows this. And we need vitamins and minerals and proteins as well. Guess what? Yeast isn't so different. So when you pitch yeast into a batch, it's going to go through different stages. The first thing it's going to want to do is rehydrate, or if you're using a dry yeast, it'll want to rehydrate. And then what it's going to do is it's going to breed until it gets to a population level that it's comfortable with, which generally we refer to as the lag phase, which is an aerobic phase where the yeast actually need oxygen. And then once they have reached their critical capacity, then they start fermenting, which is where they start turning their alcohol. They start turning the sugar into alcohol. So yeast have some needs, and so we're not going to go into, the Oscar level specifics of yeast needs, but, they need nitrogen, they need some oxygen at the beginning, they need nitrogen throughout the fermentation process. And, hey guys, you can jump in anytime because I'm starting to run out of stuff I've already prepared.
I was going to say, she's got her notes now, so... All right, so what I got from that was you need to be nice to your yeast, and you should have a pretty good idea of what you like before you jump into this, rather than just jumping into the 26 spice thing. I like spices, that's why I jumped into that. But
well, that's been one of the questions that has come up time with people is, did you try mead before you made your first batch? And a lot of them hadn't.
Yeah, that was the first thing that I did when I first started. I think if you look way back into the first, third, or fourth post that I ever put on GotMead, it was what mead should I try? We have like one of those big more wines or whatever, and I basically bought every mead that was there on the shelf and just tried them all, and made little notes and saw what I liked and what I didn't like. Most of them tasted like maple syrup, but like they I thought they went better on pancakes. But it was that first that testing phase of just tasting and tasting and tasting that helped me like start at the right place. But then, even then, what I always tell people is, when you're first starting to make mead, well, there's two kinds of people who come to mead. Either people who've never done any kind of fermented beverage before, or people who've been brewing beer. If you've been brewing beer, you have kind of a head start on everything because you already know sanitation. You don't know too much about yeast management because beer doesn't need anywhere near as much help. The yeast for beer doesn't need as much help as the yeast for mead. But like what beer needs, yeast mead doesn't in a lot of ways. Like the strict temperature control and all that stuff.
although as you progress, all the stuff that I have found anyway, that all the stuff that I didn't need to use for mead that I used to use for beer,